We have an amazing track record of improving our members' AMH, and this is after joining the program after being told there was nothing else to do or that you have no eggs left. We even have a member who adopted because they told her she'd never have biological children, and after adopting and feeling she was not ready to quit trying on her own, she joined the program and she got pregnant naturally with our support. And what all the members who join my program who need help improving AMH have in common is that they were told there was nothing that they could do to improve it. This makes it sound like this is a life-threatening situation and you have to live with this death sentence. Does it sound logical that you can't do anything to change your AMH? I don't believe that to be true. And I may be the only person you have ever heard who says this, but I say this from over 20 years of making it change. What most doctors won't tell you is that there are functional, science-backed strategies that can actually support and even improve your AMH levels naturally. And this is what we're going to talk about in this video. So if you feel like you've done everything there is to get pregnant and feel like nothing is working, if you feel like you're running out of time and IVF is your only option because you have no eggs or bad eggs, watch this video until the end. If you're new here, I'm Dr. Marc Sklar, also known as the Fertility Expert. And for over 22 years, I've helped women around the world get pregnant naturally by addressing the real root causes of their fertility struggles. And today, we're talking about AMH, anti-Müllerian hormone, what it really means, why your levels aren't forever hopeless, and most importantly, what you can do to support them. Before we start, if you're wondering what that would look like for you, know that I can help you and that you can book a free personalized fertility assessment with me and my team so that we can help you improve your AMH too. So in my HOPE program, I tell patients that in order to improve their AMH levels, that they need to know and understand the root cause of why their AMH levels are low to begin with. So the first root cause that might be impacting your AMH levels and causing them to be lower is blood sugar imbalance or insulin resistance. This is a huge one today in the world that we live in. This is an epidemic of huge proportions. And we see this not just in America, we're seeing this across the globe, although in America, it does seem to be the worst. So blood sugar imbalances and insulin resistance can be directly linked to ovarian aging, meaning your ovaries are older than we would like for them to be, than your biological age, and contribute to lower AMH levels. This is super common to see in women who are over 35 and those women with PCOS as well, although in those women, AMH levels may not be low, they might be elevated. And so we need to understand how important, you need to understand how important blood sugar regulation and insulin regulation is for your overall health, because it is, for reducing inflammation in the body, for having good functioning body, so you have good overall health, energy, good proper sleep, and how it's impacting your fertility. In this case, we're talking about AMH levels. So if we can stabilize, what some people won't tell you is if we can stabilize your blood sugar properly, then we can also improve AMH levels. And that is what we need to see and do for all of you. So what are some strategies that we can do? Well, first and foremost, anytime we're talking about blood sugar, we need to talk about diet. I know you've heard me talk about this many times. You might be even saying, I don't need to hear what Marc has to say about diet, but I'm telling you, for as many years as I have been talking about diet, I still speak to so many of you who are not doing the right things with diet, which is why I harp on it so much, because it's such a key foundational piece of what you need to be doing. So through targeted, appropriate diet plans, through an appropriate supplement regimen, which may include items like inositol or berberine, we can help to regulate your insulin, your blood sugar, and we can improve ovarian function. So this is something that I do when I start working with couples in my HOPE program. We need to analyze their overall health, your overall health. Glucose is part of that, and understanding your glucose patterns, your blood sugar throughout the day is really, really important. So yes, there are some basic tests, blood work that you can be doing, like fasting insulin, for instance. We already talked about blood sugar. You can check your A1C. But in addition to that, one of my favorite tools is a continuous glucose monitor. So I don't recommend this for everybody, but for many I do. And for one woman, one member in my program, she was having a hard time with energy. Her energy was dropping. She didn't feel good. She felt dizzy. But when she looked at her diet, she thought everything looked fine. And to be honest, when I looked at it, it also looked relatively okay. There were some slight areas that I would like to see her improve, and she was working on that, but still, we weren't getting a clear picture because the reality was, she shouldn't have been having those symptoms if her blood sugar was balanced, but something was clearly happening. So I recommended that she start using a continuous glucose monitor. This allowed her and me to see her patterns of what was happening when she was fasting, what was happening after she ate. And this actually allowed us to more specifically tailor her plan and her diet recommendations to the patterns we were seeing in her continuous glucose monitor. Once she was able to follow through with that and maintain her blood sugar throughout each day for a period of time, and in this case, it was 3 months, she got pregnant for the first time. This is what is possible. This is what can happen. So the first potential root issue to understanding why your AMH might be low is blood sugar. Chronic stress and cortisol imbalance is the second potential root cause for lower AMH. So chronic stress depletes your adrenal reserves. It disrupts hormone signaling, and it suppresses your AMH and egg quality over time. None of us want that to happen. Now, you've heard me talk about stress before. You've heard others talk about stress before. But I think one of the most important things when I talk about stress is I want you to understand why it happens. And I want you to understand that you have the power to manage this differently. None of us can control the outside stressors in the world that impact us. We can just manage how our day goes and what we do when stress happens. And I think that is a very, very important thing to understand. I mentioned cortisol. When you are impacted by stress, whether that's a chronic stress over a long period of time, maybe it's a work stress and you have it every day, or a traumatic event that has one major stressful moment in your life, your body has to deal with that. And when that happens, your adrenal glands release cortisol. And if you're constantly doing that, you're going to throw off your adrenal rhythm. A normal rhythm for your cortisol levels throughout the day is that you wake up, it's slower, but it starts to rise. As you get on with your day, it peaks a little bit more because this is giving you energy. And then as you go on with your day and hit afternoon and evening, it should slowly come down so that it's easy for you to go to sleep at night. This normal rhythm is something that we want to keep in mind because that's what we're trying to impact. That's what we're trying to maintain. But if we have this ongoing stress, then your adrenal glands, as they communicate with your hypothalamus and pituitary, which are your main glands that produce your primary reproductive hormones like FSH, LH, and TSH, are going to be thrown off. And that's going to impact your hormone levels and the way your reproductive function happens. Additionally, those two glands communicate with your ovaries, which is where your other reproductive hormones are, like estrogen, like progesterone. And so, if you have this ongoing stress, and I see this repeatedly and have for the last 22 years, this is going to impact your hormones and your fertility negatively. Stress isn't just in your head. It shows up in your hormones and your fertility, and we need to address that. So one of the main ways as a functional medicine provider that I assess this and what I do for many of the couples in my coaching program is we work with a test called the Dutch test. It's a dry urine hormone panel that shows me, among other things, because it does show me a lot, it shows me your cortisol rhythm. Then I could see where in your day you need support. And then we could talk about strategies to incorporate, whether that's going to be a supplement, whether that's going to be breath work, where we're going to work on optimizing sleep, acupuncture, whatever that might be. We're going to figure out where in your day we need to support your cortisol rhythm, and we're going to do that. So as a fertility coach and potentially as your personal fertility coach, I would be finding where these hidden stressors are. We'd build a plan to manage them, and then we'd support your nervous system by creating a fertile, stress-free environment, and more importantly, giving you the tools to know how to manage those things. A story that comes to mind, and I love sharing stories, so I'm going to share a simple one right now, is that I have seen over time with different people, but one comes to mind, which is the first one I helped by doing this, is that she was waking up early in her day to de-stress, right? She wanted to de-stress, so she was waking up early to go exercise to get her workout in to de-stress. But what she was compromising was her sleep, and that was causing more damage, more stress to her body and her fertility than going to wake up to exercise. So the only thing I had her do, because after working with her for about 4 to 5 months, I knew everything was where it should be and she wasn't getting pregnant. So we need to dig deeper. So the only additional thing I had her do was to figure out where in her day this was happening, and we cut that out. So when I assessed it and I saw that she was waking up early, I said to her, you can no longer wake up early. You can get a workout in, but you have to get at least 7 hours of sleep. The next month, she was pregnant and had a successful pregnancy. This is the power of managing your stress and your lifestyle appropriately. The third potential root cause is gut health and inflammation. Just because I'm talking about as number 3 doesn't mean it might not be the most important for all of you. And I say that because this is where I start with everybody in my coaching program. We have to support healthy digestion function first and foremost, because this sets the stage for every other system. It allows every other system to function properly. So low-grade chronic inflammation in your gut is often driven by gut dysbiosis or leaky gut, what's called intestinal permeability, and this can over time damage egg health and suppress AMH. So if your gut is inflamed, your fertility suffers. Period. Drop mic. End of story. That's the reality. So if you're not spending time addressing your digestive health and eating properly, you will be impacting your fertility. We need to prioritize our gut health. And so as such, I prioritize gut health in my program as the start for everybody, because this is such a foundational piece of what needs to happen. And as we do that, I have some core things that I do for everybody that everybody has to do when they join my program. But for those who we know have ongoing digestive issues, or they're not quite sure if there's ongoing digestive issues, but they have some things underlying, maybe a little bit of bloating, they haven't been getting results with their hormone regulation, their fertility, we often order a comprehensive stool analysis to look at everything going on in the digestive tract. This allows us to see how the gut lining is doing. Is there bacteria? What's the microbiome like? It allows us to create a proper plan to address this specifically root cause issue. And I say this because I want all of you to understand how important it actually is. It's not just about eating well. It's that you may have been exposed to something for a long time ago and did not know that it was there. I get this question all the time. You found all these things. How did it get there? We don't know. We can't always answer those questions, but we do know now that it's there and we need to address them. So in a proper fertility assessment in my program, we explore symptoms that point to gut imbalances. And if needed, we run additional targeted testing. Once we get those results back, we're going to create a step-by-step protocol to repair and restore proper gut function, reduce inflammation, and restore proper hormone balance. That will improve your fertility. So 2 months ago, I did this exact thing for someone in my Hope program. Once she got in, she started with her detox. We supported her gut health. I recognized that there was something else going on, so we dug deeper with some additional testing. We got those results. I created a plan for her. And once I did, she was feeling great. Within 2 months, so 2 months after that, she got pregnant. And I did not do one thing to improve her egg quality. Not one. I didn't put her on a fertility plan. I didn't give her extra supplements to support her hormones. None of that. Because that wasn't the root cause of why her AMH levels were low. And I say that because I want you to understand that there is so much more to understanding your hormones, your fertility, and your AMH than just that number or how your ovaries are functioning. Number 4, environmental toxins. I know you've heard me talk about this before, but no one else is talking about it. So someone has to do it, which is going to be me. That's right. So I say this because I find this to be one of the most impactful, under talked about issues, toxins. And I don't think it's talked about enough, which is why I say that. And a story that I need to share with all of you, because I need you to understand how important it is. 3 weeks ago, let me backtrack. We have everyone who can have access to this test, because some of the couples we work with around the world just can't get this test. But we ask everyone who's in my program who has access to this test, which is about 80% of the members in my program, do an environmental toxin test. It's a urine collection. 3 weeks ago, I got a result back. 21 toxins were found to be either moderately or high level in this member's results. 21. That's not 2 or 3, 21. Now, that is amazing when you think about the fact that every day you're exposed to 80,000 chemicals, right? So she only had 20 or 21, I can't remember what number that was, but it was a lot, right? So I say this because there's so much we need to do. And you know, her response to me was, she said, but I eat clean, I'm careful where I shop, what I clean in my house, what I use in my body, all of these things. Yet BPA was elevated, phthalates was elevated, pesticides, glyphosate, which is Roundup. All of these things were elevated. They're endocrine disruptors, and that will cause havoc on your ovarian reserve, ovarian function, and AMH. So she was scratching her head. Where did this come from? Well, one, some of these things we can't control. We go out into the world, we're exposed to things. There's not much we can do about it. What we can do is just control our house. And she said, but that's what I've been doing. So great. That's the first step. Now I put her on an environmental toxin detox to help her body get rid of these things. It's a gentle detox, help to reduce toxic load, support liver function. Then she's going to go back in her house and analyze what else is there, where else she's exposed to, not only in her house, but around and at work, in her environment. And we're going to start to clean those things up. And she's going to be more aware. Sometimes we just don't know where these things are hidden. And once we start to have a reality like there's more that I should be doing, we're able to clean out more. This thorough detox is the initial step for her to restore proper reproductive function and AMH and ovarian health. That's what we need. And this is part of my personalized plan, my coaching for all of you. It's not one plan that everybody gets. They get multiple plans based on the results that we're getting. And this environmental toxin plan is the first of those for many people in my program, because we need to clear the decks of toxins to create a proper foundation to build from. But we're exposed to toxins every day, just like I said. So this is not just a one-time thing. This is an ongoing thing that she's going to have to be aware of and that we're going to have to support. Okay, the fifth one is mitochondrial health or lack of, and how it impacts your AMH levels. Now, this is potentially the one that all of you focus on the most. And you probably thought that this should be number one. I actually didn't even want to include this in this video because all of you spend so much effort, time, and resources on supporting mitochondrial health and egg quality. But I'm telling you, this is not the main thing that I see clinically when I work with couples. The last four that I just mentioned, those are highly seen than mitochondrial health. Absolutely. Yes, should we be supporting mitochondrial health to support AMH levels and ovarian function? Absolutely, because as we age, our mitochondrial function diminishes. But should everything be about egg quality and mitochondrial health? Absolutely not, because what I find is that then you ignore all the other areas that I just talked about that we should be focusing on and actually take more effort and resources to support. This one, yes, we have to do some things in our lifestyle. But the reality is many of you are probably taking all sorts of supplements, CoQ10, PQQ, NAD+, all of these things that you've read about. You're overdosing on all of these things because you want to support mitochondrial health. I'm not saying they're bad. What I'm saying is if you address the last four things that I just mentioned, those key areas, That is going to support proper mitochondrial health. That is going to slow down the aging process. That is going to support proper AMH levels and proper healthy ovarian function. So does that mean in the plans that I create, I ignore mitochondrial health and I don't include CoQ10 or whatever else? Absolutely not. In many cases, if that's not the root cause, that's not going to be the main part of the personalized plan that I create. So it's just going to be a small piece. So I say this because I don't want all of you to get blinded or clouded by everything that says egg quality support, mitochondrial health, and all these things. And next thing you know, you've got a big shopping bag full of vitamins and you don't know why you're taking them and you're not sure for how long you should be taking them. What I want you to do is focus on the hard things, the things that aren't easy to change. I'm not saying mitochondrial health is easy to change, but it's easy just to take a pill. Let's focus on all the other things that you have the power to impact. And I promise you, those things will impact your AMH levels positively. I do this every day with members of my coaching program, and I want to do it with you too. If this resonates with you and you're tired of hearing there's nothing that you can do, I want you to know that's absolutely not true. Let's get to the why behind your low AMH and map out a real plan to address it. Book your free personalized fertility assessment today. This is the first step in your new fertility journey, guided by science, compassion, and a functional medicine approach designed just for you. You've been doing this alone for too long. Let's change that together. Low AMH doesn't mean no hope. It means your body is asking for deeper support, and that support exists. You can improve your fertility. You can feel empowered again, and you can get pregnant. There is a way for you to become a mom, even if the path is unconventional. The first step is booking a free fertility assessment so we can create your action plan together. If this resonates with you and you're tired of hearing that there's nothing else that you can do, I want you to know there are other options. So let's use the link in the description below to book a free fertility assessment with my team. And then we'll be able to see how we can support you on your fertility journey. Until the next video, stay fertile.